Hey, I'm ChristopherJMUA and welcome back to my channel. Unless you've never been here, of course, then welcome. I'm very glad you've stopped by. And why am I very glad that you've stopped by? Well, let me tell you why. I'm very glad that you stopped by because today we are reviewing the Jeffree Star Morphe collab part 2. In case you didn't know, the first collaboration that Jeffree Star did with Morphe was a brush set and a sponge set. These are the brushes that were from the first launch, and these are the sponges that were from the first launch. The sponges have stayed the same. They are just in different packaging. The brushes, however, are different. And there's also a new palette called the Artistry palette. This is the first Jeffree Star Morphe palette ever. Maybe even the only one, who knows? So if you want to see what that palette and this collection looks like, what the swatches look like, and what the entire collection consists of, and what I think about it, then stay exactly where you are, keep doing exactly what you're doing, and keep on watching. So I haven't even taken anything out of the bag yet. Everything is still in the bag. Obviously, if I haven't taken it out of the bag. I actually went 4 hours away to the closest Morphe store, which is in Dallas, Texas, and I'm in Hot Springs, Arkansas, so that's 4 hours away. Anyway, I went 4 hours away so that I could get this collection, so that I could film this review for you guys in a timely manner, so that you could see what this collection consisted of to see if you wanted it beforehand. Trust me, if I'd gotten it in PR, it would have been an honor to get this video out way earlier. But we are not in that situation, so we have now. So let's go ahead and pull everything out of the bag. We have the sponge set first. We have the brush set next. We have the strawberry scent spray. And we have the Artistry palette. And we have another Artistry palette. Ho! You know what that means? Giveaway! Woohoo! Yes, you heard me right. I am having a giveaway for one of these palettes, and it's super easy to enter. There will be a Gleam link down below for you to enter. All you have to do is be subscribed to my channel, like this video, leave me a comment, and find the secret word in this video and leave it in the box on the Gleam website. I can't wait until you find it and enter it. This giveaway is gonna be so good and so much fun. I'm gonna go ahead and set this out of the way because this is for you. So I'm just gonna leave it over here. There's no reason for me to touch or even look at the other palette. Now, the first thing I would like to go over in the collection is the sponge bundle. It's technically called the Beauty Sponge Trio, and it has one large sponge and two smaller sponges. These are essentially just the standard Morphe sponges, but they are pink. So they are essentially a special edition because you can't get the Morphe sponges in pink aside from this collection as far as I know. And like I said before, this sponge trio was in the previous launch with Morphe and Jeffree Star. The only difference is the packaging. The previous launch does not have the ribbon across the top saying Jeffree x Morphe. Instead, it just has the words and no ribbon. That's literally the only difference though. And these are $16. They were, and they continue to be. Now, I will link my review of the previous collection in a card right up here so that you can check that out if you'd like. I do cover the sponge trio in more detail if you want to know more about it. Since I have already gone over it, I'm going to kind of skip the breakdown of it just so we can move on and cover the new items. And the first new item is the Jeffree Star x Morphe Eye Brush Collection. This is a much smaller bag than the first collection. I actually use the original brush bag to carry my brushes in normally, and the first brush collection was more of an all-round, like full face brush collection, face and eyes, if you will. So you can kind of see the difference in the bags themselves. The eye bag is maybe a quarter of the size smaller, and it is opaque rather than transparent. And if we open this one up, we have the brushes, which are nicely packed. I don't feel like there's any chance those would have bent. That's nice. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 brushes in this collection. And for these 10 brushes and the bag, it's $42. And I'm going to very quickly go over each brush and read the details from the website so you kind of know the details of the brushes themselves and what's in the brush collection. Now, the details from Morphe's website say, here's the tea. You're gonna make them stop and stare with this eye brush collection from our fiercer than fierce babe, Jeffree Star. Everyone will be watching you and your perfectly blended eyes. Get to it. I love how they're like forceful. collection includes, the first one is the JS5, and this is called the Crease Queen brush, and it's natural haired. And the description says, get all the details and a new crease on life. The longer bristles allow you to place color in all the right spots and buff out to perfection. Yes, mama. And apparently a quote from Jeffree Star says, I do have deep set eyes, so I wanted to create something that fits right into that eye socket. Now this brush is a duplicate from the first brush set. So if you do have the brush set, you will be getting a second JS5. Next is the JS6 Rule Blender brush, and this is also a natural brush. And the description for this one is, do what you will with this brush, there are no rules, but it's perfect for carving out chiseled eye looks and knows how to drop bold, opaque color in the blink of an eye. Just saying. Jeffree's quote, get in that crease, baby. I've learned to do my entire look with just this and JS5 Crease Queen brush. And this one is also a duplicate. And now the JS7 Double Trouble brush. This is a synthetic brush, and the description is, there are two sides to every story. This double-ended dream knows how to bring the drama. Use the angled end for drawing on brows with your fave cream products, or use with concealer to brighten up that brow highlight. Turn to the spoolie end to brush out any harsh brow lines, leaving you with soft, natural arches. Just the tip, the angled bristles know how to work it as an eyeliner brush. Jeffree's quote says, I've been drawing on my brows since the 10th grade. Last year I took time off from them, but baby, brows are back this year thanks to this razor sharp brush. The JS7 is also a duplicate. And then the JS8 Drama Crease Brush. This is also synthetic, and the description for this brush says, meet the crease brush that blends the house. Use this babe for stunning creations around the clock. Everyone's gonna be talking about this blending action. Then we have the JS9. And this is the Fluffer Crease Brush, and it's a natural bristled brush. Get ready to fluff it all, because we live for a brush that buffs out and softens color in the crease. Give this tapered hottie a whirl when you're diffusing shades and softening harsh lines. And then we have the JS10 Diva Crease Brush. This is also a synthetic brush, and the description says, size matters, Morphe babe. This one is just what you need to handle all the tiny details. Get to the point and cut that crease with precise lines, honey. We're already impressed. Yeah, I could see that being a really nice crease cutting brush. Next, we've got the JS11 Blunt Packer Brush. This is also a synthetic brush, and its description says, want a major color high? This brush will take you there. The amount of pigment that it can pack on is going to leave you shook. So get in there and go for the bold. Bam! Next is the JS12 Sport Mode Blender Brush. Also synthetic. The description is, kick controlled, precise blending into high gear with this tapered brush. This babe is made small so you can buff and blend with the lightest, softest touch. Oh yes, mama. JS13 Palm Crease Brush. This is natural haired. The description says, bold color and defined lines in the crease? Honey, we're here for it. This brush's soft, domed point can totally make it happen and make it iconic. And then the JS14 Happy Ending Liner Brush. This is a synthetic brush, and the description says, don't let the size fool ya. This itsy bitsy brush sure knows how to finish off your look. Whether you're a babe that loves to wing it or you like things a bit dramatic, your liner has never looked finer. And last but not least, we have the Superstar Bag. This description says so much to think about. This sleek legendary bag is perf for storing all your fave brushes and lippies so you can live that luxe life, mama. And that is the entire brush set as a whole. Now, this time, the brushes are available individually. The prices that I left in the bottom left corner of the screen reflect what the individual prices of the brushes were as I was talking about them. So if you want to double check on one, you can just scroll back a little bit or check the description box down below. Now we're going to move on to the Morphe X Jeffree Star Set and Refresh Mist. This is in the scent Starberry. Currently, this is the only scent aside from the original Morphe Continuous Setting Mist spray, which comes in the black bottle, and this is $18. The description for this product is, set your beat with this super fine Jeffree Star Berry Scented Mist. A continuous air-powered spray delivers a controlled and oh so refreshing application. Flawless. Directions: hold bottle 8 to 10 inches away from face. Close eyes and apply the mist all over your face. This was the perfect time for this to come out because I'm so close to being out of the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist that I can't hear anything in it anymore. I guess I can't hear anything in it if it's full either. Well, it feels really light, so I feel like I'm running out. But I'm so excited to smell this one. Since it says this is a set and refresh mist, I'm gonna use it right now because I want to smell it, but I will also use it once I get my full face of makeup applied as well. that does smell like strawberry, but it's like that fruity candy strawberry. Almost like what a car air freshener would smell like if it was strawberry, that kind of strawberry. And I feel like my spray might have been a little off. Oh yeah, mine has a heavy flow at the bottom. It like, so it's not quite as fine of a mist as the original was on mine anyway, but I did try one at the store and it was a super fine mist just like the original one. So I think maybe I got a dud on my cap because it does spray a little intense on the bottom. But that's okay because it still smells really good and it doesn't spray hard enough to mess up makeup. I just notice it. And now we get to move on to the Jeffree Star Artistry palette. First of all, let me just say how beautiful this packaging is because that reflective rainbow gorgeousness is amazing. Looks like you're gonna go into the Twilight Zone. So we obviously see what the unit carton looks like on the front. It has like the ribbon-esque rainbow reflective gorgeousness with pink lettering. And then we flip it over on the back and it has Jeffree's face with essentially a letter to us. Now this message is to each of us who buy the palette or who own the palette, but I'm gonna read it to you anyway. Since you're gonna be entering my giveaway, you'll have a chance to see it later anyway, so why not? It says, "Hi, how are ya? We all know I live for making a bold statement, especially with my makeup. The world needs color and I'm serving it up by the pound. I'm so excited to once again create magic with Morphe and bring this beyond stunning palette of velvety, vivid shades to life and into your hands. All Jeffree Star approved, TM, and created for you. One touch and you'll be hooked. So dive in and explore your creativity. Love and lipstick, Jeffree Star. J-Star, actually. And then it shows hashtag Morphe x Jeffree Star. That was actually the same hashtag as the last collaboration, so I wonder what the hashtag is gonna be now. And this is a combination of eyeshadows and pressed pigments, as it says on the back right here, and it shows the ingredients list for the shadow and the pressed pigments. So now let's open it up. Ugh, all I can smell is strawberries now, and I'm living for it. And here we have bubble wrap. This is specific Morphe x Jeffree Star bubble wrap. You can only get this bubble wrap in this package, and this is probably 50 cents or so. And then we have the palette itself. It looks just like the unit carton on the front, and on the back, it does not look like the unit carton. It has nothing on the back, aside from what it is, the address that it was, I don't know, manufactured in, I guess. And it shows at Morphe brushes, and it has hashtag Morphe Babe with an expiration date of 12 months. So it's only gonna be good for a year, so you better use it up while you got it. The inside. Y'all ready for this? I'm gonna take the plastic thingy out because it takes away from my dramatic effect, but it does have plastic in it. Okay, dramatic effect. See, I wouldn't be able to do that with a sheet in it. But this is the Morphe x Jeffree Star Artistry palette. This is definitely one of a kind. I don't know that I've ever seen these specific shades mixed together in a palette. There are so many gorgeous shades and so many wearable shades. That's what I'm really liking about it at first glance, is how wearable it looks. Now I'm gonna go ahead and read the description from Morphe's website, give you all of the details, of course, and then we're gonna move on to full in-depth swatches and do a look.
I am so excited right now, you have no idea.
The description says, this bright, fully fierce palette knows a thing or two about dominating a room with larger-than-life looks. Dive into these 30 attention-grabbing shades and show them what you got, mama. Now, that is it for the description, so let's jump into swatches. Okay, first we have the shade Welcome. Then the shade Back. The shade 2. The shade My. The shade Channel. And the shade Wand Noise. Ring. The shade Lynn. The shade 1985. the shade Self-Made, then the shade Dog Mom, ooh, and Honest Truth. Then we've got the shade Designer Label. Oh my god, that is beautiful. Mr. Diva, Los Angeles, Pink Fleet, in the shade Calabasas, and Don't Know Her. Okay, and next row we have Rolls With It. Ooh, that's really pretty. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it's really, really pretty. Then Millions. Then Girl. Then the shade What's Next. Then the shade Vroom Vroom and Custom Rims. Vroom Vroom looks like smog. Okay, and now we're on the very last row. Okay, so I'm out of room at the end, but I'm gonna go backwards now and show you the rest of the swatches this way because that's the only room I have left, and I didn't think I was gonna take up that much room, but I did, so sorry about that. So now we have the shade Glam Rapids. That is gorgeous. The shade Wake and Bake. Then the shade Nate. The shade Hi Dude. And then the shade Fast Lane. Okay, and those are all of the live swatches of the Jeffree Star X Morphe Artistry palette. And as always, I will insert photos of the swatches, one with flash here, and one without flash here. And I've always got to give you guys a close-up with the flash on of the swatches, especially with this palette, because it's hard to see these shades from far away. Like, it's hard to see really what they're made of and what they do, how they act, how they look. But for sure, this palette is beautiful. It's got lots of pink tones, purple tones, some warmer browns, and some greens. And I've always got to give you guys a close-up with the flash on of the swatches, especially with this palette, because it's hard to see these shades from far away. Like, it's hard to see really what they're made of and what they do, how they act, how they look. But for sure, this palette is beautiful. It's got lots of pink tones, purple tones, some warmer browns, and some greens. That was a lot of swatches. I could have sworn that I've swatched an eyeshadow palette with 30 shades before and I was able to fit it all on my arm without having to move back again, but apparently I didn't space enough adequately. But either way, we got them all on the arm, so it's done. Now, if you know me, you know that swatches don't really mean a whole lot to me. They just kind of show a color story, but they really have no bearing on what the performance is gonna be like or what the quality is gonna be. But I will say that I could definitely tell they swatched like a Morphe palette. Not to say that it's bad, but you can tell a difference between like a Morphe palette and like a Jeffree Cosmetics palette. They are completely different formulas and you can feel that difference when you swatch. But like I said, it's essentially irrelevant when it comes to performance on the eye. So let's figure out what it acts like on the eye. Now for this look, I'm gonna start by priming my eyes with the P. Louise base. I don't exactly know what kind of look I'm going for yet. I just know I want to use or try to use as many brushes from the new brush set as possible. So hopefully I'll be able to pull that off. And I'm gonna blend out my eyeshadow base with the mini sponge from the sponge set. Okay, my eyes are now primed. I'm gonna use the JS5 and I'm just gonna set my base with the shade My. This was already much more pink than I originally anticipated, so I'm gonna kind of revise the direction I was going there. I mean, I was eventually gonna go for pink. I was just gonna start with a light brownie pink, like my skin tone-ish, but it turns out it's a little more pink than my skin tone. I'm gonna go ahead and just build it up into my crease. Now I'm gonna use the JS6 and go into the shade Self-Made. And I'm gonna try and keep this one a little more toward the deepest part of the crease. I'm also winging that out a little bit, so it kind of has that elongated shape as well. This brush is actually working really well for that, but my old JS6 from the first collection cannot do what this one's doing right now. So the new one is definitely a lot sharper at first because the edges haven't been like blown out yet. But for now, this is really precise. I'm gonna blend out all the sharp edges once I'm done laying the color down anyway, so it doesn't really matter if it's a sharp, clean, precise line, but it looks nice for now. This shade, Self-Made, is beyond pigmented. This is pure, beautiful, saturated color. Flat out pigment. I love it. I guess that's why they call it a pressed pigment, huh? Now I'm gonna go back in with the JS5 brush, and I'm not gonna add any more of the shade My, but I'm gonna use the existing pigment that's still on the brush and just blend out the edges of the shade Self-Made. Now, using my JS12, I'm gonna go into the shade Pink Fleet and use that to blend out Self-Made a little bit more, but only on the inner corner side. It's gonna be interesting to see how all of these shades work together in my crease, because I'm starting to kind of pack on quite a few shades now. Well, the thing that I was most afraid of was patchiness, and luckily I still haven't ran into it. Some palettes, by the time you hit that third matte shade in the crease, you're done for. You start blending and you start getting holes, and it just starts looking really gross and weird. But luckily, we are not there. And really all I did was I wanted to add that purple depth just to the inner portion right here to kind of intensify it a little bit, but also add a little bit of a purple tinge, essentially. And I feel like that's exactly what happened. I did take it a little higher than I wanted to, but what's done is done, and I can't go back now. I have a feeling already that this JS12 and I are gonna become very good friends, because I really like this tight detail work like this, and this brush can do that, and I'm quite fond of that. And now I'm gonna use the JS9 and go into the shade Mogul. And I should have used this brush earlier to blend out my crease instead of the JS5, so now I have to be very careful with this one, but that's okay. I think we'll be fine. This is just to add some depth onto the crease. Wow. These are blending together so beautifully. I know it looks like, at a glance, a big pink hot mess. A big hot pink mess. Same difference. But really, if you look, it's like all the shades have blended so well together that it's lightened where I wanted it to be lightened, it's deepened where I wanted it to be deepened, and it gives a lot of dimension, and I really like it. However, that could still change very quickly. And now I'm gonna use my JS10 and my Makeup Revolution Cut Crease Canvas and cut my crease. Okay, I think that's a good start. So now I'm gonna take my JS11 and go into the shade Wake and Bake. Now I only want to take this shade probably about halfway because I'm going to try and blend in another shade with it. I'm really just trying to use as many shades as possible and in as many different variations as possible so that I can really see how they perform in a lot of different ways. So like with blending or stacking on top of other mattes or stacking on top of a wet concealer to cut the crease. Okay, so I have that first color on the inner corner of the crease. Now I want to go in with the shade Nate. And normally I would try to clean this brush off and use the same brush because I prefer using flat brushes if I'm packing color on top of a cut crease. But I'm gonna try to use this blending brush. This is the JS13 small detail brush. I don't know how this is gonna work out, but I'm gonna try to put that shade on the outer edge of my lid. And as I'm reaching the shade Wake and Bake on the inner portion of my eye, I'm blending the shade Nate into Wake and Bake just as I go. Nate and Wake and Bake have blended together beautifully, literally seamless. You can't tell where one ends and one begins. Because I've been packing on this shade quite a lot, there's definitely a lot of fallout, but it was kind of expected because I was literally like taking chunks of shadow and pressing them into the eyeshadow base. All right, now I have finished the shade Nate on the outer edge of my eyelid slash cut crease. So what I'd like to do now is I would like to take some of the shade Drive Through, and I think I'm just gonna take that on my finger, and I wanna lightly pat that right on my lid. Like, I don't want to take away the gorgeous blend that I have between Wake and Bake and Nate, but I feel like my lid is missing something and I want to try more shades. So I'm gonna have just the shimmer shade on the lower part of my lid and have those two mattes blended in the background, essentially, of my crease. And I just don't have a flat brush anymore to be able to make that happen. I'm really surprised that this metallic shade is working so nicely on top of mattes because I've built this up quite a lot. There's 2 layers of eyeshadow, then the Makeup Revolution Cut Crease Canvas, then another layer of eyeshadow, then a layer of metallic eyeshadow. So there's a lot built up. I really like this metallic shade though because it's almost the same shade of green as the shade Wake and Bake. So it looks like I'm just fading from Wake and Bake to Drive Through to Nate. And I'm just in love with it. I really, really like this. Don't get me wrong, it's very bold, and I don't know that it's everyone's everyday cup of tea, but it's my tea for now. Now I'm just gonna go back in with the JS13 and just blend some of these edges just to make sure the shade Nate blends seamlessly into Drive Through, now that I've added that extra shade in there. Now the last thing I wanna try and do, I don't know if this is gonna be successful because I'm limited on brushes now, but I am gonna try and use this JS8. Don't use this for a brow bone highlight brush. I mean, you can if you want, I just wouldn't recommend it. But that's what I'm gonna use it for. I'm gonna go into the shade 2 with this brush and try to lightly dust it on my brow bone. I mean, I guess that did kind of what I wanted it to do. I didn't realize that that shade was mainly glitter, but it worked. I mean, it added shine to my brow bone, which is essentially what I needed. Now I'm gonna clean up my under eye and the edges of the wing here and try to make that kind of a sharp wing and get rid of this blunt edge. And maybe some of this look will start to kind of come together. Now that I have everything cleaned up pretty much, aside from my face, I'm gonna use the JS14 liner brush, and I'm going to use my Jeffree Cosmetics Velour Liquid Lipstick in the shade Diva, and I'm going to create some pink wings along my lash line. And now that I've finished with that part, I'm gonna go in with the JS7, and I know it suggests using these for brows, but I'm actually gonna use it to set my eyeliner. I'm gonna go back into the shade Self Made and just use the flat angled brush to do that. Okay, the liner is now set. And before I can move on to the lower lash line, I need to go ahead and finish my face products. I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera. And once I do, I'll come back, finish off the look, and give my final thoughts on the Morphe x Jeffree Star Collection number 2. And we are back with almost officially the final look. So let me tell you a little bit about what I did behind the scenes really quick. My blush is the shade Honest Truth. My highlighter is the shade Designer Label. My brows are the shade Hi Dude. And I actually still went in with the JS7 brush. I just didn't take off the shade Self Made. So Hi Dude on my brows might be a little on the pinky side versus it looking a little more brown in the pan. So my brows are a little more on the pinky side, but that's okay because they're still brown. And then my lips are a combination of the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Velour Liquid Lipstick in the shade Diva on the outside and the shade Question Mark on the inside. But I didn't stop there. Oh no, I did not. I also went in on top of that with the shade 2 to add the sparkle and dimension that you see on top right now. I was trying to see how many shades I could utilize in this palette with my face, and honestly, it went a lot farther than I expected. I mean, I pretty much did my entire face of makeup with just this palette. Now I'm gonna go back in with the JS11 and take more of the shade Wake and Bake on that brush and go right across my lower lash line. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I also put the Velour Liquid Lipstick shade No Offense in my waterline. So that's why I have this green there. And that was the closest I could find to the shade Wake and Bake, which is now going on my lower lash line. And now with my JS12 one last time, I'm gonna go into the shade Welcome, and I'm going to just lightly dust that on my inner corner. That was such a perfect, nice little touch at the end. And we can't forget Bottom Lash Mascara. Lower lashes are done, and that is it for the eyes and the rest of the face makeup. Now the very last thing I need to do is make sure that I set this face with the Morphe Jeffree Star Set and Refresh Mist in Starberry. Now I used this to refresh earlier, but now I have to set because it's called Set and Refresh. That just smells so good. Ugh, love it. Okay guys, this is officially the final look. And of course, we achieved all of this. Mostly. We didn't get foundation and concealer and powder out of it, but we got like everything else out of it with the Morphe x Jeffree Star Artistry palette. And we wouldn't have been able to do it without the Jeffree Star eye brush collection and the new Set and Refresh Mist in Starberry. So when it comes to the Set and Refresh Mist, based on the fact that I love and still do love the Morphe Continuous Mist Setting Spray, I think that geared me up to just automatically love this anyway. I am a strawberry watermelon scent type guy. You give me cherry or grape, I'm kind of done, but you give me like sweet things like strawberry and like watermelon, you got me, like hook, line, and sinker. So this is definitely something for me. This is a very happy thing for me. So definite recommend on that for sure. Plus it's a continuous mist and I really like that. Now for the eye brush set, I think it is a really good set of brushes, honestly, because you get obviously quite a few. It is a good, well-rounded eye set. Just like his first collection was a well-rounded eye and face set, kind of an all-in-one brush set, this is great for all eyes. And I look forward to the next collection where it's all face, because that's the only thing left. But I especially loved these four, the JS10, JS14, JS13, and JS12. The JS10 was great for cutting the crease. The JS14 worked really, really well with his Velour liquid lipsticks, which are eye safe and can be used as eyeliners. The JS13 was perfect for detail blending, and I have hooded eyes and I don't have a whole lot of space to work with, so this is great for getting in there and getting detailed blend work done. Same thing for this JS12. It's just a bigger version, but it helps me do that even more, but in bigger surface areas. So definitely recommend the whole set, but those four are my favorite. And then the shining star of this star collection. I didn't mean to do that, but that was awesome. The Morphe X Jeffree Star Artistry palette. This was even better than I thought it was going to be. I was thinking that it was gonna be a good all-round palette for like neutral looks, but being able to add just a couple of pops of color. I, of course, went a little more bold than neutral with a pop of color. I went just there, you know, like all the way watermelon vibes or strawberry watermelon. However, I managed to use 11 shades out of this palette today. So almost half of the palette for this look. So I would say it's definitely a versatile palette. One thing I will mention is if you expected this palette to be anything different than the other Morphe palettes formula-wise, it is not. It feels to me anyway, just like any other Morphe palette. That's not to say any other Morphe palettes are bad, because they're not. I mean, maybe there was like one at some point, but this one's not, and the other ones that I have are not. The formula is great. The mattes blend well. The shimmers are foiled and metallic and pigmented, and they work nicely together. I just thought myself that maybe the formula of this might be a little bit different than the others, but it's not. It's a regular Morphe palette. But regardless, it's a great palette. Highly, highly recommend. Like, it's pretty bomb. Now, I will say that if you do want pops of color and you don't like green or pink, then you might not like it, because the only pops of color there are green or pink. And I noticed that everything is on the pink purple side. There's pink, purple, and green. Those are the hues you're gonna get. So if you don't like that, then maybe not for you. But if you do, perfect. Well, that is everything in this collection. Oh, except the sponges. But the sponges are the sponges. They were in my last video. So check that one out if you want to know about the sponges. So aside from the sponges, that is the rest of the collection, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review and hanging out with me. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It lets me know that you like this sort of video and you like me and you like my channel. And if you don't like any of those things, leave me a thumbs up anyway, because you were here and you heard me say that. So why not, you know? Also, if you want to see this look and more looks like them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. My username is the same for everything. It's just ChristopherJMUA. And if you gain nothing out of coming to my channel, if you gain nothing out of any of my videos, please at least gain this. And that is to always remember and never forget that you are absolutely beautiful. Bye, guys.